Hi there, this is Brent Harris. I am a personal coach. And in this video, I want to offer you what I see as the basic key to not having to deal with procrastination anymore. And so I realize that's a tall offer and kind of a big thing to say. But perhaps like yourself, I've suffered from procrastination for a long time, and I've struggled getting myself to do the things that I need to do, and so therefore a lot of the conversations that I have, both in these videos and in with clients that I work with, this one conversation that we return to again and again and again and again is how do I get myself to do what I should be doing? Because there seems to be some sort of barrier associated with it. There seems to be something in us that has an interest in us not doing what we should do. That is in our highest and best growth. And it's strange because looking at it objectively, suppose what you should be doing is going for a run or writing something or just getting to work or say even getting out of bed on time. Looking at it objectively, it doesn't appear that there's anything that should stop you from doing it. Like, why not? It's just, simple actions. And furthermore, when you are, say, away from your desk or you're away from that environment, and if it's not really time for you to do the thing that you need to be doing, I'm sure what you find is the sense of like, of course, this is doable. So suppose it's, a Sunday afternoon, you may think to yourself, well, yeah, I should get out of bed. And it should be doable to get out of bed at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. But nevertheless, when the time rolls around, when the rubber hits the road, when it's time to really do the thing, it just tends to become a different matter. Something switches on or switches off, and it makes it essentially impossible. So in particular, I want to speak to the type of procrastination where suppose we're sitting at our desk and it comes time to work, and, there's this task. Okay, here's what I need to do. And in that moment, there's sort of like this buildup that makes us go like, okay, no, let's switch modes. I want to play a video game, or I want to go on Reddit, or open up a new browser, open up a YouTube video, and waste some time. I have kind of sort of 5 different ideas that I want to make sure that I get out kind of fluidly. And I think I want to start with this. So what I'm about to share with you is something that has occurred to me in my own life, because I was going through something similar. I have things that I wish to do, things that I need to do. I'm writing lately, and I wish to put a book together. And so you can absolutely bet that when I set a time aside to write this book, and I open up the browser, I go through what I was just telling you about now, where it's like I look at it and I'm like, okay, no, I'm not ready to do this. I can't do this. And there's some sort of repulsive energy that kind of makes me go like, no, like I don't want to. I become jittery, and something becomes so incredibly uncomfortable that I just can't stand to even be in the presence of my work, of what I'm working on. Can you relate to this at all? Especially when it comes to doing that which is of your highest purpose. So like, for example, we tend to not have any trouble doing work that we're paid to do by somebody else, or somebody else's assignment, or even a school assignment, which we would typically put off until it comes to the deadline, and then we can't delay it anymore, and so we just end up doing it. Like, that tends to be possible. But when it comes to our work, when it comes to, say, the product you wish to make, or the story you wish to write, or the song that you wish to write, or anything like that, when it comes to really getting down to this work, there's something else that comes up on us that's like, no, like, let's delay this. We have to delay it. We have to look somewhere else. So in this last week, I was really sick, and I took on this incredible illness that just absolutely derailed me. And I was kind of blown away by how sick I was able to be. It kind of messed with my mind and messed with my psyche and just weakened me in all these ways. And nevertheless, I made this effort to still return to this book that I'm writing. And due to the weakness and due to the already present inclination to procrastinate, it was an incredible uphill battle to write. And so here's what I found. And this kind of brings me to the nut of what I wish to share with you, and what I see as the way past procrastination, the way beyond procrastination, and coming to a certain point with your work where you're not bucked off of it, like, as if you're riding a bull, like where you can actually show up to work and get into flow and enjoy yourself and get shit done and do it on a regular basis. So that's kind of what we're looking for here, and that's what I see as possible for you as well as myself. So here's what I found. So I was so sick and I couldn't write, but something switched in me where I was suspended in between writing, which I was not able to do, but I paused before switching modes to open up Reddit or open up YouTube, or like to open up that distraction. Because here's what happens to me, and here's what I believe you're going through if you are contending with daily procrastination, is we haven't figured out how to fully sit with our energies. And this is absolutely key. Because when there's a moment, if you pay attention, if you're vigilant, where you open up the document or you open up the project and you're about to do the thing and then all this repulsive energy comes up, all of this no, and who even knows why it's saying no, or what the threat is or what's wrong with it, but it's like no, like not now, don't want to, no. If we switch to Reddit, what happens is we distract ourselves from these energies that are coming up. And then it's kind of has this effect of, say, like if you've ever walked past some kind of property on the sidewalk and you're going somewhere, and like these guard dogs kind of like come up and start barking, and they tell you like, get out of here, fuck off, kind of thing. And when you walk away, then they go away. It's kind of like that. You bring up the document and you're working, or you attempt to work rather, and then like all these like barking dog energies come up, and then you kind of like go somewhere else with your attention. In my illness, somehow I missed out on that memo that I should distract myself, and instead of distracting myself and turning away from my work, I stayed there and I looked at it. I looked at the energies. I looked at that repulsion. I looked at that sense of no. And what was so strange, this may not be the same for you, but what I found arising in myself is this sense of, it's like I don't know what to do and I'm wasting time. It's like I'm looking at this book that I want to write, and the voice in me is saying like, hurry up, like write it, you're wasting time, you're falling behind, this should already be written. And there's a sense of urgency, and it was so strong, but I just stayed with it, and I allowed the voice to say whatever it was going to say, and I allowed myself to feel everything that was feeling. And then what happened as a result, because I kept my attention on my energies, on my feelings, they were able to dissolve. They were able to disperse. And that was when I remembered, oh yeah, like this, of course, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I don't know if you're already familiar with this as a principle, but this is the absolute way of moving forward in your life. It is bringing the fullness of your attention to that in you which you just can't stand, or that in you which you don't approve of, or that in you which you're trying to get rid of, trying to kind of force away. Sometimes you may even be learning these healing modalities, like these esoteric, energetic healing modalities, or say NLP or access consciousness, or these different things, so that you can get rid of these aspects of yourself. But that, as you may have found, it tends to make things worse when you do that. The way forward is to be with your energies. See, Before, what we would do is we would sit down and start acting on our life's purpose and start doing what we're here to do, our life's work. And then that sense of no comes up, that desire to procrastinate. And what we would do with all of our innocence is we would attempt to contend with that repulsive energy. Like, so we would try to fight with it and force ourselves. And this is like, and it's the same thing as like forcing yourself to go to the gym, forcing yourself to motivate or meditate rather, and you're just kind of pushing and pushing back and trying to win the battle. And this is something that perhaps you can get away with once or twice, but it is not sustainable, as you probably found, because the energy runs out. You can't permanently sustain friction against yourself. In the end, it always ends the same way, with burnt up energy and kind of coming back to square one. Any sense of competition against yourself, you lose, because it's like, who are you competing against? Right? It's you. So, even if you win, you lose. So the key is to not turn away from what comes up in you when you feel that desire to procrastinate. So instead of just getting into another video game, asking yourself, what is it that I'm running from? What is it that I'm avoiding? What feeling can I not stand right now? And would you be willing to feel that deliberately? So I'd like to take you through a live exercise of this now. So if you are contending with procrastination, then follow me on this, and you'll get a feeling for it. Because if you can master this, then you can master your life. You can just, instead of contending with yourself, you can just do whatever it is that you need to do. Imagine the freedom, imagine the possibility if you were able to just do what's right for you. And just, program your behavior as if you were a robot or something. It's not exactly like that, but it's similar to that. So, okay, so let's do this together. So think about something that you should be doing, that that if you were doing this daily, if you were contributing to this project or exercising, if you're doing it daily, then 30 days and 60 and 90 days into the future, there's just no question about how much benefit you'd get. This is sort of an Eben Pagan question, by the way. It's like, you just know that, your life would be better. You'd be on a different track. Everything would just be unquestionably better if you could do this one thing every day. Great. Okay. So hopefully you have it at this point. And so imagine being in the moment now. You can close your eyes if it helps. I won't be doing anything special, if your eyes were open. But close your eyes and imagine actually, perhaps your alarm clock is going off, or the time is arriving that it's time to start doing this thing that you said yesterday you were going to do, and now it's time to do it. So hopefully you can start feeling even a little bit. It may be full blown, or it may just be like a little taste. It may be like 3 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 intensity of whatever it is that comes up in you that's like, I don't want to do this. So whatever that is, feel into that now. And so what you're doing is you're bypassing the mind. It's not a mental thing. You're actually feeling the emotional quality of the resistance itself. So feel into that resistance. And it's helpful to find the center of it. So just, whether it's in your body somewhere or not, just bring your attention to the very center of that feeling. And I'll try to trigger it again. I'll try to trigger it again. So, you're just about to start doing that thing. You're going to go for a run. You're going to open up the document. You're going to start the work. You're going to start doing what you need to do in order to build your life. And you're going to do it now. Do you feel that resistance? Cool. I feel some right now, so it's good. And just remember that all of this is just energy. It's just feelings. And it maintains itself, it maintains its life by either kind of how does it do it? It's either by like getting up in your shit, getting up in your grill, like kind of getting up in your face, or by you avoiding it. Because as long as you don't look at it, directly, as long as you don't give it full conscious attention, it can continue to kind of fester and grow in the background. So bringing your attention to it now, feeling it completely, and keeping your attention right on the very center of it, the very nugget, the nucleus. Note if it has some kind of color, and note if it's doing anything in the presence of your attention now. What's it doing? Is it pluming up? Is it getting even more unpleasant now because you're paying attention to it? Good. In that case, keep watching. Is it doing nothing? Is it just staying absolutely still? Then if it's doing that, then that might be because you're in your attempts to observe it, you're trying to get rid of it in some way. You're trying to do something about it. That's not what we're doing here. In this exercise, we're just scientists. We're just watching. We're just looking. We're just seeing what happens. We are releasing, at least momentarily, any preference we have about what happens with these energies in us. So eyes closed and just looking at it. It's time to do the work. And that's how it feels. It feels like that. If you just watch it, it tends to kind of rise and sort of crest, and then it kind of deflates, and then it kind of is released, and then there's relief underneath that. Hopefully you got a taste of it. It's a little bit challenging doing it without having you to kind of get the feedback from. But let me emphasize that if you master this principle of sitting with your energies, especially the uncomfortable ones that stop you from doing your life's work, acting on your life's purpose, then all of that moves out of the way, and then you'll find there's nothing to procrastinate. And when there's nothing to procrastinate, that's a little movement here. Yeah. When there's nothing to procrastinate, then you can start getting into flow with the work that you want to do, and to be in this creative flow on a day-by-day basis, offering your deepest gifts. That is fulfillment. That is the substance of what fulfillment. That is the essence of success. And if you could just stay in the center of your experience, just in the experience of success for prolonged periods of time, then that's it. Then your life has no choice except to offer you more and more evidence of success. But it begins with your willingness to experience your energies. So how about this? So I want to offer this as something that you can really use. So the assumption that I'm making about you as I'm speaking to you is that you have potential you wish to fulfill. You have realms of success that you wish to experience in your life. And you want to do more, produce more, be more, collaborate with more people, be more creative, earn more, all these things, right? So if that's you, then I'm speaking to you right now. Create a time. This is my recommendation. Create a time every day where for some fixed period of time, and it could be as little as 10 minutes, you show up at the same time every day, either 7 days a week or maybe 5 days a week. That's also fine. 5 days a week for 10 minutes per day. You show up on time. And your commitment is either to do your work, so either contribute to your book, or if you're like in film or whatever, contribute to your storyboard, or like do some editing or something, or if you wish to start a business or a nonprofit of some kind, like making some important contribution to these things that you decided on the day before. And so in this practice, either do that thing or sit with yourself, refusing to move into distraction. Does that sound like a fair deal? So you are not obliged to actually do something if you feel like, oh, like I can't, like it's too painful, it's too jittery, the sense of no is too strong in me. That's fine. You don't have to do anything, but you can't turn away either. Because if you are willing to just sit with what comes up and just breathe with it and look at it, then you can dissolve it. And then when there's nothing else that comes up that stops you from doing your work, then you're free to just do your work. And this is you moving into the manifestation of your highest potential. Cool. Does that sound good? Let's do that together. That is my practice now. It feels amazing. You'll even feel like, if you're new to this, like just energy just being stripped away, and just you become more and more clean and less complicated and less weird, and you get this sense of just acting on your highest purpose every day, which is it's such an amazing experience, and you deserve it. So there we go. So that's it. I will be opening up my group coaching forum. So excited. I'm going to host a free webinar on Sunday the 28th. I'll be doing it from Mexico City. And I'll be opening up registration to the forum. It'll be called the Mensch Project. Mensch being a person of high integrity and honor, of admirable qualities, and it's going to be about a different aspect every week for 6 weeks on the principles of habit setting and keeping a habit and building habits on top of each other, and just becoming a person of strength and integrity and consistency. Because if you can claim these aspects of yourself, especially as a creative and as a person who just feels like you have a lot to offer, then it's like harnessing like this big, like all the energy of this light bulb that you are, and like laser focusing it so you can complete things instead of just constantly starting things. So I'll include a link for that in the description below. It should be there now. And otherwise, that's it. That is all. Take care. Goodbye.